Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. In this time, I am and my partners we are gonna presentation about our paper with the title The Effect of Kolb's Learning Cycle on Students' Critical Thinking Skills. This paper is arranged by Widaswara Agustin Hanisyah, Gemintang Cinta Winarko, Leilita Shiva Elfitria, and Mr. Satrio Ardiansyah. In this presentation, we are gonna discuss about the background, discussion, and conclusion our paper. The learning style of each individual must be different, considering that every human being has different characteristics. Every human being takes his own path in an effort to gain new knowledge. Teachers, as much as possible, design learning in the classroom according to student learning styles. In addition, students also need to adjust their learning style to the competencies and skills to be achieved. Competencies and skills that must be mastered by students today are increasingly diverse. This is in accordance with the demands of the existing developments. In the era of Industry 4.0, students must be able to compete not only with the domestic community, but the existing competition is focused on the global community. Therefore, it is important for students to be able to prepare themselves by mastering various 21st century competencies and skills, including critical thinking skills, creative thinking skills, communication skills, and collaboration skills. To achieve these competencies, of course, students need to make various efforts, one of which is adjusting learning styles that are in accordance with the competencies and skills to be achieved. Because not all learning styles will give maximum results on a competencies or skill to be achieved. Based on the description above, the writer intends to find out whether there is an influence of Kolb's learning cycle learning style on students' critical thinking skills.
So the next is the discussion part. The first, we have Kolb learning cycle. There is Kolb's learning style model by Kolb TA in 1984 combines perception with vertical lines with processing, horizontal lines, and pace-setting axes in circles. Thus, 4 different modes of learning were created, namely concrete experience, reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. Concrete experience focus on engaging in experience and dealing with direct human situation personally, paying attention to the uniqueness and complexity of current reality over theory and generalizations. Next is a reflective observation that is focused on understanding the meaning of ideas and situations by carefully observing and describing them, paying attention to what is true or how something happens rather than what will work out. Abstract conceptualization focuses on the use of logic, ideas, and concepts, concerned with building general theories rather than intuitively understanding unique and specific areas. Active experiments focus on actively influencing people and changing situations, paying attention to what works rather than what is absolute truth, emphasizing on doing more than observing. Axis also creates 4 quadrants of learners with different types of learning styles. There is diverger, assimilator, convergent, and accommodator. Divergers learn by reflecting on concrete experience to create a learning style that can see concrete situations from a different perspective. Assimilator learn by contemplating abstract concepts and placing information in a logical form. Convergent takes abstract ideas and active experimentation experimentation to find practical use of information by finding solutions to problems. Accommodators take concrete experience with active experimentation in hands-on experience. And we can see the circle in the picture. That is for the quadrants of learners. So the next is critical thinking skill. Thinking ability has become one of the methods that people must possess, particularly in sphere of education. Specifically, there is this critical thinking capacity that has been discussed in the education industry for evaluating students' learning achievement. Based on the experience of the students in learning with critical thinking skill, there is a lot of process in considering many decisions from many ideas to be applied. This gives the effect of higher thinking skill. According to Burden and Bird in 1994, critical thinking is classified as a higher category of thinking activity that necessitates a set of cognitive abilities. As we can see in the picture, in the cognitive approach, critical thinking can be defined as the mental processes, methods, and representation that people use to solve issues, make decisions, and learn new concepts. By Sternberg in 1986. Critical thinking is a mental process where individuals need to actively and skillfully conceptualize, apply, analyze, synthesis, and evaluate information to reach an answer or conclusion by Costa and colleague in 2014. Learning style is the same as thinking style by Abdi in 2012. Some research supports the influence or effect of thinking style or critical thinking learning. As a result, it is necessary to establish a learning style that is compatible with critical thinking in order for students to learn. In the end, it can assist students to learn new concepts because it requires students to assimilate knowledge and answer problems critically.
Okay, next we have to discuss the effect of the learning style by Kolb with critical thinking skill. We already know before the discussion about learning style by Kolb, which is there are assimilator, convergent, accommodator, and also divergent. Based on those four learning style, we take the learning style of convergent because the convergent learning style have a higher influence on critical thinking skill. That this learning style have combination of abstract conceptualization or AO with active experimentation or AE. So the person or the people who have this learning style tend to take practical values from various ideas and also theories, and also the ability to solve problems and make decisions based on the problems. They also prefer to deal with technical problems than social problems and enjoy interpersonal experimentation. In formal learning, they also prefer to experiment with new ideas, simulation, laboratory assignments, and also practical application. So therefore, we can say that Kolb's learning cycle has an effect on the critical thinking of students from the way of solving problems that are different from the other learning style. Okay, for the conclusion of all, we have that according to the Kolb's learning model affect the way students analyze knowledge and draw decision from the knowledge that they get. And also the learning style that is more influential on the success of critical thinking is a learning style that provides opportunities for students to focus on all decisions that have been made. The convergent is also often defined as critical thinking or choosing the best idea from the Kolb's learning style with the characteristic of good memory, logical thinking, factual knowledge, and accuracy. This learner have the ability to solve problems and also make decisions based on the problems. And therefore, it can be concluded that students' learning style based on the Kolb's learning style model have an influence on students' critical thinking skill, that namely students with convergent learning style who are more dominant in their critical thinking abilities. Okay, and that's all for our discussion group about the effect of Kolb's learning cycle on students' critical thinking. Thank you.